Bamba yetu yulie mbinguni.
Hello, I am Warden Wilson Matua of the Three Sheets National Reserve. Whiskey bottles die every day. Three Sheets to the Mouse was created to meet the global challenges of sobriety. It is my job to tell you that only with great debauchery and adult language can you be in harmony with nature. That is why I ask of you, all of you, sin nudes.
Fuck that little pig. This is horse shit. I podcast like that.
I know it sounds sorted, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared, be prepared.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Quickie episode of Three Sheets to the Mouse. We are five average guys with love for all things Disney, but tonight we have a special treat, and joining me are my co-hosts, Adam.
What's up, everybody?
Tim.
What's going on?
And tonight our special guest is Dave Koch from the Mickey Dudes podcast. Dave, welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on.
So tonight, like we do every night, we're here to talk to you about some Disney parks, some Disney booze, and maybe a little bit of debauchery in between. So sit back, relax, grab a Manischewitz,
God,
and enjoy this week's episode of Three Sheets to the Mouse. Tonight, Dave, it's your first time on the show. Welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
We're going to have, like we do every show, what are you drinking tonight?
I just actually finished my drink. I just had a a really local brew, as in the brew pub next door to me at the moment. It's an ale called, it's a hoppy ale called Jake's Tricky Ale from a place called Jake's Saloon in Manhattan.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
sounds good.
Knew I had to come
That's
up here,
super.
so I kind of just stuck my beer out of the place. Took myself a nice pint glass with it, so I'll return it later on. Just
Sure, you'll return it.
Yeah,
I have enough from
Return
them,
it
so.
to my cupboard.
My in-laws were cleaning out some of the things in their basement, and they found some glasses that I stole from across the pond about 12 years ago.
Oh, from the London, you mean?
From the London,
London.
yes.
That's how I end up with menus. I'll return it later.
I swear I'm just borrowing.
I have Disney people that do napkins from the restaurants, so it's like they're trying to swipe a Tiffin's napkin.
So wait, they steal cloth napkins?
Yes,
But they're plain. There's no like embroidery on them, is
Yeah.
they do have the name embroidered on them from the restaurant. So it was one of those
Some of the
things. I guess
restaurants
it's just something for their trophy room,
That's
over to
interesting.
Go over to company's house. Why does your napkin say Yachtsman Steakhouse?
What is a flying fish?
It's actually
that's,
someone known in the Disney community. So I'm going to keep that one quiet, but it's quite comical.
Maybe not blow up. We blow up our own spots enough, I guess. So.
Look, Dave. The only time Disney ever listens to the show is when we do Armchair Imagineer, so we're good.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Tim, what are you drinking tonight?
We've got some Sir Walter's Red from our local winery, and it's really sweet. It's Concord wine.
Ooh,
It's like drinking a jam sandwich.
It's not like that heavy alcohol, like medicine-y flavor. It's sweet, but it's not awfully sweet.
is it like
It's not heavy.
Is it long in the finish? Is it like kind of like syrupy, or is it more
No,
just
it's
like
not heavy at all.
No,
it's
it's
a
not
very
heavy at all.
light. Very light.
This is the one that they usually mull in the wintertime because of the sweetness.
And you add the
I'm sure with
spices.
some mulling spices that would probably
Yeah.
be really, really good. Speaking of spices, I have some Glendula double barrel Irish whiskey. So this is grain whiskey, Irish grain whiskey that's been aged first in bourbon barrels and then finished in sherry barrels, because sherry whiskey is the best whiskey. It's one I've had before. I don't think I've ever had it on the show, but it's a really, really bright, sweet finish. I like it because I like sherry whiskeys.
But do you like sherry? Like, I've never had sherry, honestly. I'm not even quite sure what it is.
Brant and I were talking about this when we did the BSEA podcast. I've never had sherry.
Okay.
But I love sherried whiskeys. It's weird.
I've never had sherry either.
Not even quite. Is it a wine? It's like sherry wine?
Yeah, it's like a fortified wine.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I might have to give it a try. Like I've had port before, and I like port.
Depends on the port.
Ruby and tawny.
Tawny, I like tawny ports. I don't like some of the other ones that are they're too heavy.
Yeah, they can be heavy, sweet wines.
I've had stuff cooked in sherry before, but I've never actually drank sherry.
Yeah, I've had sherry cooked things, but never actually drank sherry. Dave, have you ever had sherry?
I don't recall.
I was
thinking
going to say,
probably
you're not a
not.
90-year-old British grandma, so I'm going to say no.
Well, I do remember my grandmother giving me something to clear my sinuses every now and then. So it very well could have been. It was either that or brandy. Because a lot of
brandy.
times,
Yeah, brandy.
Brandy
was a big remedy back in the day.
I've been congested and had to record shows, and I've done a double shot of brandy right before the recording just to be able to talk and not cough.
Yeah, that was the only reason why you did those double shots, is just to be able to talk.
Well, back when we were kids, they would also use brandy for teething.
See, I got scotch.
Yeah.
You see, in my neighborhood, it was ouzo.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Astoria.
I can
For
see
the
that.
teething.
For me, it was scotch.
I would give Ethan scotch. I gave Ethan scotch when he was teething. And it was good stuff, too. It was like Macallan.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I know it was scotch.
He's spoiled. All right, so Dave, you're here tonight because you've got some awesome fundraising past, present, and future things going on, and we wanted to bring you on the show, talk to you about kind of what's going on with your involvement with an awesome charity that we have also been recently involved with, and that's Give Kids the World.
Excellent. I've been volunteering with Give Kids the World since, I believe, 2012. I've logged at least at this point about 200 hours with them on various trips that I've done. I try to go at least once a year and work a couple of shifts. I am in the process of becoming a Florida resident. I'm hoping to make the Florida plunge by July of next year. So, in some of my research last year, for instance, I rented a Airbnb for the whole month of August in the greater Orlando area, and to kind of just give myself structure, because I know, okay, well, I'm not going to be going to the parks all the time when I'm down there and everything. I was still living on my Northeast. I'm a teacher, so I had my summer salary and everything, but I'm like, I can't be going to the park straight through, so I kind of have to find other things to occupy my time and just learn how it is to just be in Florida and see if I can actually live here. So to kind of give myself a work schedule and give myself a little bit of structure, I pretty much planned almost every day to be at Give Kids the World, to work a different shift and work a different job that they have available for volunteers over there. So I was kind of just getting up in the morning like I would be going to work, but instead I went to Give Kids the World. I did a couple night shifts at times, so I have a whole bunch of experience with just dealing with the people at the village, and I just want to kind of just share what an amazing place it is, especially with how you guys are doing your fundraiser for the November sheet up. I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about how amazing it is, and maybe in the process, maybe try to, I guess, inspire some people to maybe give up a little bit of the time for their Disney vacations, 4 hours or so, and maybe spend some time over at Give Kids the World, because you're going to find if you go to Give Kids the World that the magic is just as much there as it is in the Disney parks. It might even be more of that because you actually get to create the magic.
Since you've been involved with Give Kids the World so much, we haven't really touched on what they actually do.
Okay, so Give Kids the World works in conjunction with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they specialize in granting free vacations for children with life-threatening illnesses. Now, a lot of these, some of these children unfortunately do lose their battles, but a lot of times it's been reported that a child comes to Give Kids the World, they have this amazing Disney and Universal vacation, and they come back completely energized, ready to fight their illness. They're very cooperative in their treatment and everything, and it's kind of just after constantly being prodded and poked by doctors and everything, after a while they kind of just, sometimes they just kind of just don't want to cooperate. Give Kids the World kind of just re-energizes them and gives them hope for something better later on, that when they come back, they fight with a vengeance. And they have a lot of people who visit, or who are called welcome back families. Once you're a guest of the resort, you can come back at any time when you're in the Florida area and visit for a full day. And you can go use their facilities. Just you can't stay again. You can't get another vacation, but you're always welcome to come back. There's some various things that they do with the children that they can come back and revisit. I'll be happy to tell you about some of those experiences that the children have. And I have worked with more teenagers and actually young adults in their 20s who actually have, when they were younger, battled an illness and won their fight with it, and now they come back and they regularly volunteer to give back to it.
That's awesome.
Now, you talked about volunteering in various different positions or spots, right? So now, what kind of volunteers, because we do actually have listeners down in Florida, so, and there's always somebody going to Disney. So what kind of, volunteer opportunities do they actually have? What if you decide to sign up with Give Kids the World to volunteer? What are some of the jobs you would be doing?
For one, they have you could be a ride operator. They have a carousel over there. They have a midway ride that's similar to Dumbo and Astro Orbiter, called Laurie's Magical Flight. That you're putting the kids on the ride. You're setting it up. There are times where the parents might not want to ride, so you're running the ride, and other times your partner's running the ride and you're riding it with them because they have nobody else to ride and they need to ride with an adult. They have a train that goes around the village that you get to be the engineer for. So I have gone to this place and played the entire time and just had a blast doing it. Other times, there are some more grunt work positions. I've helped serve breakfast. I've helped serve dinner in their cafeteria style restaurant. So it's just front of the line food service in that case. Every child, when they go to Give Kids the World, they get a gift every morning. And I've gone around on the golf cart delivering gifts to different villas. I've worked in their ice cream parlor, just making 8 hours of making milkshakes and making ice cream sundaes. That's actually a really busy shift because everybody it never stops. There are people just coming in straight through, so you don't get you really don't get a break at that point. My favorite shifts, though, are golf cart shifts where you get to just drive around the village. I've delivered pizzas. I've had one shift where I worked what was called the cookie cart, where at night all I did was just drive around, and anybody that I saw walking through the village, I just called over to them, asked them, "Hey, do you want some cookies and lemonade?" and just had a whole golf cart with boxes and boxes of cookies, and I was just serving cookies to anybody that I saw on the street who wanted them.
So this is an entire resort dedicated, and people think of it. Oh, it's a resort. There's going to be just generic hotel rooms. It's not like that at all, is it?
No, it is a 70-acre playground for children. They have I think it's a 3-bedroom villa. They have the room for the parents. They have room for the children with I think it's 2 beds per room, full family room, full living room. It's a really nice spread. They give them transportation, so if they need to rent a car, they give them the car for the week, and I think domestic families get 7 days, international families get 10 days with the jet lag and everything, and in addition to having a full, it's almost like a Disney resort where you have your pool, you have your restaurants, you have your recreation activities, but they also get tickets to the park. So they'll get a 3-day hopper ticket to Walt Disney World. They'll get 2 days at Universal, and then any other attraction in Orlando. They want to go to SeaWorld, they want to go to Legoland. All they have to do is tell the concierge what they want, and they will get them tickets for it. One kid, for instance, wanted to go on a helicopter ride, and there was Orlando Helicopter Tours made that happen. Somebody wanted to go to Orlando Eye. They just went behind their desk. Okay, here's some tickets to the Orlando Eye. Everything is done based on donations. While it is definitely an amazing resort, it's one that I hope to never have to share with anybody in my family, given the implications of it in that way. But when a child comes to Give Kids the World, they are treated like a king for the weekend, and it's not just the wish child. Sometimes when a child is fighting an illness, by human nature, the siblings sometimes kind of just fall by the wayside. They feel like they're not necessarily neglected, but they might feel like they're neglected at times. So it's extended to both all the siblings of the wish child, anybody in the family. All the children, wish child, siblings are treated the same. A lot of times when families come into the different facilities they have, for instance, the last time I was running their video game facility, they have this rec center with almost every type of video game console, and they take games out and they play them in this huge family style room. I couldn't tell which of the children was the sick child and which one was the siblings. You don't really ask that question. You just kind of just go and be present for them, and you kind of just help them any way they can with having the best vacation they can have on there.
No, that's really cool.
Awesome. How'd you get involved?
I actually got involved with just listening to a lot of Disney podcasts. The first place that I ever heard of Give Kids the World was from Mike Rallman's Be Our Guest podcast, and it sounded like an amazing institution, so I checked it out, and then I started running. And at that time, Mickey Myler's running team was forming, and they were a charity running team. And their one thing was they will support you with any of the online with any of your running efforts. The price of admission was a $50 donation yearly to Give Kids the World. And from there, I just hearing constant podcasts of people just having either visiting it or just raising money for it. It made me really interested in the whole setup. I used to do a lot of volunteer work as a emergency medical technician. I since blew out my knee and almost dropped a patient, and since then I had to give up my certification, and I haven't been on an ambulance in years, and it was something that it was a major void in my life, and I was kind of just looking for something that kind of came close to that. Going to Give Kids the World for the first time, it filled that void of missing working on the ambulance and volunteering on the ambulance day in and day out. It's actually one of the reasons why people ask me, well, you're moving to Florida, what? You grow up, you want to move to Disney? It's not the parks that are bringing me there. It's actually one of the reasons why I want to make the move to Florida is to be closer to Give Kids the World so I can give them more time there.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned volunteering in different aspects of it. How hard is it to actually, I guess, enroll or sign up for one of those positions?
It's actually not that hard. You're working with children, so you're going to have to go through a background check. You submit to you'll go on. They ask you a couple questions, and then from there they basically let you know, okay, this is what's going to be looked into. They tell you your legal rights. You basically have to tell them, hey, my life is an open book, and you have to consent to them doing an extensive background check on you, and obviously you can't have any felonies or anything like that, especially if it's anything against children. So they really do a good job of vetting their potential volunteers beforehand. And then once you come back clean and you're ready to, they're ready to start scheduling you. They just basically, they give you a contact of somebody and they say, okay, when you're in the Orlando area, email us. We'll get back to you and we'll tell you for the days that you requested the volunteer. We'll tell you the type of shifts that are available.
Now, how far is it for people like me who fly down? So we'd have to figure out transportation to volunteer.
So Give Kids the World is about maybe 20 minutes from Walt Disney World proper. I think it's off County Road 535. If any of you have ever been in the area and past the medieval times, it's just past that. So it's really not that far of a drive from the Disney Springs exit of Walt Disney World. With that said, for their volunteers, they don't provide transportation. You have to get your own transportation. So an Uber over to there is going to run you about $25 from most of your resorts. What I usually end up doing is, if I'm there for one day, I'll rent a car, and I'll take Magical Express over to the resort. I'll do what I'm doing in the resort for the days, and the day that I'm going to Give Kids the World, I'll go over to the Walt Disney Dolphin because they have an Avis car rental over there. I'll rent a car for the day. I'll pick the valet drives it right up in front of the hotel. I'll go over to Give Kids the World. Usually when I do Give Kids the World, I try to basically combine it with another park. So I might be going over to Universal, or I might be doing something like maybe doing one of the brew pubs or breweries in the Orlando area at the same time with that. So when I plan to leave property, I try to get everything out of the way, and then by the end of the day, after I've done my shift at Give Kids the World, I just go back to the Dolphin and I drop the car off at the car valet, and then usually just walk over to Epcot and get a bus back to my resort. If it's not running, I just take an Uber.
If any of the Sheeters are interested in volunteering, head over to www.gktw.org/volunteer. And that's where you can find all the information about how to volunteer, how to sign up. They'll give you forms. It would be awesome to see some of our Sheeters, if they're down there for a lengthy period of time, spend a day.
Now, Scott, can I add something to that?
Sure.
Okay. So a couple of things that I do get when I do volunteer there is I get the question all the time, well, isn't it sad? A lot of people might not want to volunteer because they don't want to see children suffering, and I totally understand that. What I will say about Give Kids the World is when you go there, the magic is just as much in the magic that you feel in the Disney parks is just as much over there in the village itself, and you get to actually create the magic. I've brought my father. I bought Rebecca Toon, who's posting the Cheater group all the time, and
Yes.
I remember the day she was in town and we were driving over there, and I remember the shift that we worked together. She was a basket case because of it, because she had heard me talk about it, and she really wanted to see why I loved it so much. But when we finally got into the car, she was so nervous about seeing all of these kids. She was suffering. She was afraid she would get there and start crying. Yeah, she got there, and they had her running. They had her running the recreation center, which is called Amberville. Every video game system you can imagine is there. They have this huge ass HO train models that she got to run. So she's turning it on for the kids. They have these boats that are. There's a little lagoon outside with these radio controlled boats. Skeet ball. She was stuck in this rec center just running that while I was driving a shuttle around, picking up people from different villas and taking them all over the village in a golf court. When I got back to her, she had this huge smile on her face. The next day, she's like, "Yeah, we're coming back the next day," and we signed up. We signed up the next day to serve breakfast. On the way over, we never made it over there because I had a huge ass blowout in my car. So we ended up on the side of the road, and some guy that just looked like he just crawled out of the swamp ended up helping us and everything. It was a very scary Florida moment. Like, I want to move here. It was this inbred city at that point, but that's another story for another time.
Kind of felt you're right out of American Horror Story Freak Show.
Yes,
no.
that's exactly what it was. And I had to fuck with Rebecca at that point too because she hated clowns. So I was. There's a huge clown on property.
No way.
It's actually a garbage can, and you go up to it, and it sucks the garbage out, and it is basically you feed the So. So. My father has also experienced that apprehension because I worked with him over there once. We spent 8 hours in the ice cream parlor together, and he didn't want to leave when his shift was over. He had such a good time. I will be straight up with you guys. Since 2012, there have been 2 moments where I did actually become overcome. I did get a little emotional, and I had to run off stage and kind of compose myself. If you don't mind, I'd like to actually just tell you guys of those stories because I want to give you the whole. I want to just give everybody the whole. Let them know everything that they're getting into. So, one of my favorite things about Give Kids the World, while yes, it's nice to see the children having fun and everything. One of my favorite things though is as a teacher, I like watching the parents because the parents. I'm not a father myself yet, but these parents have this weight off their shoulders when they're at Give Kids the World because they're constantly dealing with driving the kids back and forth to the doctors. They're watching their child constantly be poked with needles, constantly in pain. It's definitely a stressful situation for them. And they actually get to watch their children smiling, having fun, and being children. And the huge smiles on the parents' faces is just infectious in that way. And one of the things that they have over there is a playground called Matthew's Boundless Playground. It was donated by Hasbro. It's basically a huge huge child version of Candyland. So the entire playground is a Candyland board. And then each section, so the candy cane section of Candyland is where all the swings are, and they're candy cane swings. And each section is themed to a different section of the Candyland board. And every Sunday night they have a life-size version of Candyland played, where the kids are the gingerbread men. They're given flashcards with colors, and they have to hop from one color to the other. And when they reach each section of the board, they have little games where they have to play, and they win a handful of candy to move on. So my game was just my section of this was, it was really simple. You remember those old Fisher Price bowling toys that they had?
Yeah.
It was the Fisher Price bowling set up along one of the paths on the playground, and they just had to just throw the ball and just bowl over the plastic pins, and they won a huge handful of candy from me and then moved on. There was this one little boy. He was up to knee high, so I kind of just squatted down to play with him and everything. And he was bouncing up and down because he was full of candy. He couldn't go too far away from his mother because he was on an oxygen tank. So he had the oxygen. He had a nasal cannula in his nose, and his mother was holding the oxygen tank in a book bag by her. So, but he's really having fun. He was, every time he got a strike, he was jumping up and down. We were really having this really great interaction, high-fiving each other, and it ends. Finally, I give him his candy. He goes to move on for the game and runs back and gives me one more high five. And the parents have this huge smile, and I was on cloud nine dealing with this kid. And then after I was alone, I thought about it, and I realized why that kid was there, and I got really choked up. I had to call one of the coordinators and say, I need somebody to cover for me. I ran backstage to the employee area. At that point, I just ran into the bathroom for a couple of minutes. I was bawling, and then I just splashed some cold water in my face and came back out and put the smile back on my face and continued my shift.
And that's the moments that are just precious and timeless, and you'll never forget something like that.
Exactly. So you might have one or two moments like that, but in 4 years of going there, I had two of those moments. That one was the most extreme. Every other time, from the minute I get on property, I have this huge smile on my face, and when my shift ends, I kind of just, there are times where it's like, I've asked, okay, well, you have another shift. Do you have anything else going on? Other times it's like, oh, or why did I make a reservation at Ohana tonight? I should have just,
Yeah, no. So, you talk about your involvement at Give Kids the World. For a long time, you've been involved in sort of fundraising efforts because they do rely a lot on fundraising and donations, and those are great ways to help out. For those that can't go down there and can't donate their time, a good way is to donate funds, donate money.
Well, I just have a quick question because does Disney donate the tickets, or are they buying the tickets? So that's a big...
Disney donates the tickets. As a matter of fact, at all times on their board of directors, they have an executive from Disney, they have an executive from SeaWorld, and they have an executive from Universal. At all
that's
times.
Probably the only times they all only get together and actually are civil to each other.
Right. They all work together on this board, and it's actually, and they make this place work.
Awesome.
So yes, all of Disney donates all of the tickets as well as the other parks do. As a matter of fact, they also have meet and greets in the morning. So Belle has been known to come. Mickey Mouse comes every Tuesday morning. Mickey and Minnie come to do meet and greets with the kids. They have their own characters also on the property. They have Mayor Clayton and his wife Miss Mary, and they're these huge ass bunnies that are kind of freaky, but they...
I don't know how I feel about that.
They're not... look, I've seen pictures on the website. They're not as bad as the Paramus Mall Easter Bunny.
No,
All I'm thinking
not.
right now is... And I know we've all seen the GIF at this point with the creepy rabbit sitting on the toilet, and he just taps right now.
Not to ruin the magic for anybody. But obviously, nobody with common sense here is going to let their kids listen to this. So,
what are you trying to say, Dave?
The
really little ones.
Well, at this point, parents, cover your kids' ears because we're going to go into magic for a second. But I will say, As far as
Oh,
the
God, Times
costumes
Square Mickey.
for these are Disney holiday costumes for the fur characters
Wow.
that they have
mean-
over
Yeah.
there.
Roo-
Yeah,
Roofie Mickey?
This isn't Times Square Mickey.
No, this isn't Times Square. I almost
You
kicked
mean
one
it's
of them-
not Times Square Mickey and
Times
twerking
Square
Minnie?
Elsa probably did have
Crap.
balls.
I almost kicked Elsa in the balls today in Times Square because I just was trying
God.
to get somewhere. And they were just in my way, and
Yeah.
yes, actually,
Probably did.
because Times Square Elsa did not have his head on, so yes,
Yes, but had a mean 5 o'clock shadow. so-
yes, exactly.
All right, so Dave, like I said, you've not only donated your time, but you've helped donate money to this cause. It's a wonderful cause. Now, take us back to the first time that you have been involved with the fundraising efforts for Give Kids the World.
Okay. I just want to say one thing as far as the donations on this. Give Kids the World is considered by the Better Business Bureau one of the top 10 charities in America as far as how they do their money. 93 cents of every dollar goes to the
That's
actual
awesome.
Wow.
mission. 7 cents goes to administrative costs, but if you are donated to Give Kids the World, their books are very transparent in that way, and they have the clout to back it up with all these other the watchdog organizations out there. So
it's not like a Sujin G. Coleman kind of situation where money was mismanaged very badly.
It's actually
Very badly.
considered it's one of the top 5 best managed charities in the United States.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So they're on the up and up.
Yes, they are definitely on the up and up, and a visit over to the village will definitely show that to you. I originally got involved volunteering with them by I didn't even know they existed. It was just being in the Disney Twitterverse and finding Disney podcast. And the first time I ever heard about Give Kids the World was on the Be Our Guest podcast with Mike Rahman, and from there it sounded like something that I wanted to be part of. I used to volunteer as an EMT and messed up my leg, so I went to I couldn't do my job anymore and kind of missed doing it, so I was looking for something to pull me in. Okay, so the fundraising actually started off with just some creative ways. We're all Disney people, and how can we really have a little bit of fun and turn a profit for Give Kids the World also in the process? So it all started with a good friend of mine by the name of Phil Vanderpool, and we were part of the same running team, which was the Mickey Milers. And he decided that he was going to do his yearly fundraising. For the Mickey Milers, you had to do a minimum of $50 of fundraising a year to be part of this running team. And you can just make the donation and just after that, no questions asked. He decided he wanted to do a little bit more. So he came up with this cockamamie harebrained scheme to spend a day on Stitch's Great Escape. For every $100 he donated, for every $100 somebody donated to Give Kids the World through his first giving page, he would spend an hour on Stitch's Great Escape, just going on the attraction, getting off, getting back in line, going through all the pre-shows to go back onto the attraction just over and over again.
That's a lot of dog alien.
This was
No. Just no.
Yes.
There's no.
well when this started to be advertised, he did about 2 months before he actually did it. He started raising money for this, and I remember at that point my Facebook feed was just blowing up, and it was like everybody was like, "Hey everybody, let's help torture Phil. Be sadistic, give as much money as you can. The more money you can, the more he's going to have to sit around and be on this monstrosity of a attraction, and just let's just fuck him over really good." So I remember that week I was in Walt Disney World for that week, so I had planned to do the Dolphins in Depth tour, and the money that I was going to do for that, I quickly called up Walt Disney World. I canceled the tour. They refunded me, and the money that I was going to put towards that, I donated $200 to Phil, so there was 2 hours right there. After feeling guilty for a bit, I actually met him for the first couple of rides for the first hour, and then disappeared for the entire day. Pretty much, people gave this guy they gave him over $2,000 to keep him riding all day. So he just went around and around. He stopped to go to the bathroom. He didn't even go to eat. He packed food with him for the entire time and just ate it while he was in the queue. He had protein bars and crackers all day and just bottles of water.
Yeah.
How can he even eat after riding that ride a few times? Just that smell alone. You know, I would be really worried about what he smelled like after he was done doing this.
Probably smelled like chili dogs and vomit.
At that point, the Magic Kingdom opened at 9. It was closing at midnight. I met him for the last couple, and then it was going to be extra magic hours. I met him for the last couple rides, and I was really tempted to wait for him at the end and just go over to Casey's Corner and just wait for him to come out of the ride and be like, "I bought you a chili dog."
Oh, you should have done it. You so should have done it.
That would have been worth
This guy would have handed me
everything.
my balls on a silver platter if I pulled that shit.
I'm sadistic enough to have done that.
That would have been worth it.
It would have been definitely worth it. Because you had to have somebody film that then, too. And that would just be perfect.
So the last hour of this, I went back and rode with him for the last hour to see him finish. It got to a point where it was extra magic hours. I'm like, well, I'm staying on property. He's like, fuck you. That's not happening. I'm local. I'm out of here.
That's awesome, though.
So, real quick, if you had to spend 33 hours on that ride?
It wasn't
Total?
15 hours.
It wasn't that. It was.
I mean, you figure what? 9 to 9 would be 12, plus midnight would be another 3. So you're looking at, what, 15 hours?
Right, so 15.
Yeah, that's 14 and a half hours too long.
So if you had to spend 15 hours on Stitch, what would be the worst part of that?
Which part isn't the worst part of that?
Because I think that Richard Kind pre-show would annoy the shit out of me.
There is nothing about that attraction that didn't annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah.
This is true. I think it would be for me the restraints on your shoulders.
Oh yeah, the shoulder harness. Yeah.
After a while, he said, "You don't smell the chili dog." On that,
it just gets ingrained into your pores.
Yeah. You go nose blind, as the saying goes.
Afterwards, he had a little bit of Stockholm syndrome because he was defending the attraction.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait.
He would be the one he would say, it's a perfect attraction for little boys and all that. It was okay, his brain is fried. It took him about a year to actually go back on it.
So it couldn't be the true perfect attraction then.
So the following year, after he did this, he decided, okay, well, let's continue this, but let's add more people in, because he's like, if we can get something going on in Disneyland too, we can raise more money. It takes for every $5,000 you raise for Give Kids the World, another family goes there. So the idea was, let's try to actually send a family, or maybe 2 if we could. So the next year, he implemented the Small World Challenge. And it was supposed to... He had only committed to 12 hours. And we had about 30 people between Disney World and Disneyland riding It's a Small World all day. So this included getting on the line, riding the ride, getting off, getting back on it. We did relax it. We were able to take a break to go eat, and we were able to take our bathroom breaks on that. So we did have a small little bit of a break, but I told people that I would do this, and for every $100 I spent, I would just participate for an hour, thinking, oh yeah, well, there's no way people are going to give me that much money. You can only go when fundraising. You can only go to the well a certain amount of times, and then people are like, yeah, no, I'm not giving you any more money. I understand that. Yeah, my friends were a bunch of assholes, and they decided to be, and these dickheads ended up giving me over $2,200, thus
Awesome, though.
making me stay on for 17 hours on this fucking ride.
God. So you were actually like the punishment that the skippers threatened.
Yes. Most definitely.
You lived through that.
I do have to throw out a shout out to my friend Kim Shara, who actually beat me, and she actually stayed with me to do it. And after she finished her fundraising, she felt bad for me, and she actually rode one more time more than I rode 47 times in that day. She rode 48 times because I had to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
So she actually has me beaten on that one. So everybody since Lent, there were people that were there for maybe 2-3 hours. Everybody else was like, after 12 hours, like, yeah, we're done. Me, I was just a stubborn dickhead at that time, being like, no, they gave me the money. I'm gonna see this through. I don't know what was going through my head at that time.
I have a quick question. How strict were you with this? Because I know, like, with gadgetry and everything right now, I can easily distract myself for a time period on my cell phone.
Oh yeah, no. The entire time we were having fun with it. We were taking really crazy videos on the ride, doing stupid poses. There's one entire ride where I actually rode. It's a Small World. I had my shoes off. I'm in the fetal position, sucking my thumb through the entire ride. I slept a couple times during the ride. When there were more people with us, there were times where we had entire boats to ourselves, so we were just having.
Wow.
There were people that I hadn't seen in a while, so it was just we were just catching up, having conversations. Other times it was like, okay, well we're on the boat. Mike Scoper from WDW Today was. This was his fundraiser, and for instance, he was on one of the rides. He was trying to count how many koala bears were in one scene, or how many rooms had boys, how many rooms had girls. Like you come up with a whole bunch of how many sons are in the ride. Little things like that to kind of keep it interesting.
So as you're riding for these 17 hours, I mean, you've got to go through a couple of shifts of cast members. Did the cast members start recognizing you and start realizing, this guy's back?
Yeah, the cast members caught on very early to what we were doing, and they were very impressed by it. And they actually came up and they apologized because they said if we could actually just keep you on the same boats and keep you going around, we would do it. It's just with the capacity at this point. So they actually...
And you're like...
No, yeah. It's really okay. I'd much prefer to wait online.
No, guys, no, you don't have to do that. We don't need special treatment. I don't mind getting off and getting back in line. Wow. It's okay.
That was our sanity. The last 2 hours, however, they kept us on the same boat, and we just kept going around and around and around.
How long after that did you have that? The
cast members were quite impressed with it. At this, not as much the year afterwards. Believe it or not, I was able to really put the song out of my head early on in the day, because a lot of times I was just having conversations with people. It was just background noise that really wasn't bothering me. It was more, there are these ducks at the beginning and end of the ride. There's a little shepherd girl, and the quacking of the ducks, they click their beaks together. For some reason, to this day, if I ride that ride, the sound of that clicking of their beaks just... I want to turn around and I just want to rip somebody's balls off.
It's called PTSD.
Yeah. All you hear is clicking.
I can even pick your next one then if that drove you nuts.
Oh yeah, it's called the
I say Tiki Room.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I rather gargle Drano.
Because look, I'm a big fan of the Sherman Brothers. I love Small World. I would probably be able to ride that a number of times before, getting nauseated.
Because it's all pneumatic. Is Tiki Room. Yeah.
Tiki Room and the clicking of the birds. Yeah, that'd be tough.
The clicking of the everything. There's not one thing that doesn't click in that attraction.
Well, it's 50 years old. So look, after Small World, what was next? What'd you do to top
following year we did the Jungle Cruise Challenge. Again, the whole idea being attractions that are both in Disney World and Disneyland. So we had people in Disneyland riding, we had people in Disney World riding, and our Disney World delegation, we specialized in breaking skippers. So this was 12 hours just over and over again. And by ride number 2, there's a video that I put out a couple of weeks ago showing one of those time hop videos of just one of the skippers just getting so flustered that she just starts it and then she stops her monologue and just raises up her microphone for everybody to answer. So there were times where we each ride we tried to change it up to really mess with the skippers. So there were times where we would laugh at everything that wasn't a joke. So just stuff like, please keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the boat. And we would just bust out laughing like it was the most funniest thing she ever said at that point. Another time we just spent the entire ride stoic, just staring down, just showing no emotion, just staring down the skipper. Yeah.
Well, she probably just thought you all didn't speak English, so there's always a chance of that too.
No, they all knew what we were doing. So there were skippers that actually wanted us on their boats. They would see us coming around. There were some that were like, when we were getting on their boat, they were really excited because they wanted to see what they would do next. And then there was one I remember I'm watching her and she sees that we're about to get on her boat and she's like, "Oh, fuck.
Fuck my life. This is the worst day of my life."
And then one of the guys is like, "Well, you know what?" He's like, "All right, fine. Game on. If you guys are going to be like this, I'm going to start doing the jokes that I'm not supposed to tell."
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
So, for instance, when the whole Ginger snaps with the whole with the crocodiles, it's like, I can tell you what's going through her head: teeth.
Oh shit!
That one you usually won't hear. You won't hear that one on the Jungle Cruise, but this was just we got the off-color Jungle Cruise
That's
based
cool.
on that one.
That's awesome.
That was
though.
awesome. Another thing we started doing to which a couple of times it got to a point because we forgot ourselves this is something that I wouldn't recommend doing again because we realized that there were other people in the boat sometimes and it was impeding on their experience, and we actually talked to them and they got to ride the ride again after being with us. But like during the temple scene, we would pick a classic rock song and just start singing it. So going through the temple, we would do like we did one time we did Wagon Wheel, one time we did We Will Rock You. One time we did, and then it went from rock songs to old time folk songs, and just like
That's kind of
a little Simon and Garfunkel harmonizing in the temple.
It could be, you could take that super dark too, if
Yes.
you know what I mean.
I always wish that scene had just some little more aspect to it, like the fact that it
sort
goes
of
silent.
like what they have in Japan.
Well, yeah, but I just wish that they had something more to it than just sitting in silence and watching a tiger with glowy eyes.
You had to sing the Eye of the Tiger at least once. Come on.
Yes, we did.
Like you seen the Willy Wonka.
Oh yeah,
Willy Wonka boat song.
It's not raining.
I think that might have actually happened.
Awesome. Is there another one after that, or is that the last time?
The year after that, we did Pirates all day.
Oh, you see, that wouldn't bother me.
Oh, that would be. I could do that all day.
Well, see,
Well, especially if it's in California.
Well, that's the thing. Now it's getting to a point where it's like we've done the rides that nobody wants to ride. So now it's like if it stopped this year, it didn't happen. The Mickey Milers and no more. I'm hoping to actually, when talking about future fundraising, I'm hoping to actually open it up and run some type of fundraiser next year with my podcast group, the Mickey Dudes, and open it up to a whole bunch of other podcast communities. So Three Seats Nation is more than welcome to join in.
Well,
with
I'm
this.
pretty sure. Well, look, Trenton is down at Disney World, bouging it up, like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure when Trenton gets back, because he'll listen to this, and maybe he can put up a poll and see which ride the Sheeters think you should try. So we'll challenge Trenton to put up a poll and see if we can come up with a ride that maybe the Sheeters think would be an awesome idea for your fundraiser.
If it's in a park that I can drink at,
I would love to do Haunted Mansion all
That's
day.
too easy.
But when you ask people I'm like, yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, hey, will you give me money for riding Haunted Mansion all day? They'll be like, yeah, no,
absolutely
fuck you.
not.
They're like, I want to do that.
The Tomorrowland
I was thinking-
Speedway.
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, you'd end up dead.
I don't want people. Yeah, people will be high as a kite.
Nobody will
by the end
survive
of it.
that.
It'll be on my head. Yeah, I'm thinking Grand Fiesta because
we can't put in
basically
Space Mountain because then you'll lose a kidney or two.
No, a stone anyway.
yeah. That's why Tower of Terror is out at this point. But I mean, it would work because it's Disneyland too. So if I can get people in Disneyland,
See, that's not fair because Disneyland,
I was thinking,
from what I understand, it's a different attraction every time. It's a little bit different every time you ride it.
So is Tower of Terror.
Well, yeah. Now that it's, I would much rather.
Yeah, I would sign up for
Guardians
that.
of the
I'd fly
Galaxy
there
one
for
than
that.
this one.
So
We're back to
Exactly.
the hate for Twilight Zone.
it's not the hate. It's not the hate.
I love Twilight Zone.
It
It's
does.
just,
Yeah,
this works so well. The new one, it's an eyesore, but it works so well.
What about Buzz Lightyear? Space Ranger Spin.
Again, it's a fun game straight through.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's that's why I'm thinking Grand Fiesta is pretty much Mexican Small World.
See, but I'll
True.
get drunk and I'll start singing along.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Well, I want to have the entire boat singing straight through. That would be great. Little things like that, and then if people want to take a break, go over to La Cava, take a couple shots of tequila. That would be.
Well, I tell you what, if you wanted to do this and you wanted Sheeters to get involved,
Yeah.
you're going to be...
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Because Sheeters they're very charitable, but they're also very fucking mean. They will have you on that ride for 2 days
that's
straight.
the thing. I want to open it up so that other people will join me and they can do their own fundraising. And so basically, anybody who wants to actually come join me and do this and everything, they'll set up their own fundraising for it. And they can set up, okay, well, if you want to give me $50, I'll ride for 2 hours or something like that. It's whatever they want to. Whatever they want to do.
It'll be
whatever they
$100.
want
If
to
I
do.
was doing this, it's easy $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
Easily.
$100 an hour.
Now, I have a odd question
Sure.
that I don't know if you've thought of yet. But what happens if the attraction breaks down?
Okay, so if obviously that little things like that are beyond your control. If the attraction goes down, you know what? You're there. You're waiting to go back on it. At that point, it's just good faith. Yeah, you tweet that out. You let everybody know. Hey, listen, this is the case. If you have another day, if you want to go back and just kind of just do it on your own another day and kind of make up for that, that's fine. I don't think considering what the money's being raised for, it's the cause that it's going to. It's definitely something that I don't think most people would mind, unless they're really fucking sadistic.
That's my problem with some of our Sheeters is that they are, and they're going to want to choose a backup ride.
Well, what I did was this. I reached my fundraising goal for Jungle Cruise. So I told people for every $25 I get, I'll take a shot of Beverly, and I will because they had a Beverly challenge. It was done by Mike Scopa and Phil, who originally created this. I said I couldn't be there during this, so I said I will go, and I will go on Facebook Live and I will do shots of Beverly. So I ended up having to go to Epcot and doing 25 shots of Beverly.
Oh no!
Afterwards, over this the next day, I did it. I got through. I finished about 10 minutes after I finished. I was feeling good, and then all of a sudden, my stomach just was like, yeah, no. I ran to the Figment bathrooms and I vomited my brains out.
I was gonna say that's a lot of essentially tonic water to drink.
It was worth every swallow at that point. Money was going to a great place, so
Fair
it was
enough.
like My feeling was that there are kids that wake up at Give Kids the World. You know, they have to have their medical treatments. They get up, they are vomiting for most of the morning, and then they have to just recover, and they go into the parks later on. So I kind of figured, you know, a little pain for that. You know, these kids are going through a lot more over there.
Well, I know. If you're not afraid of throwing up, then there's this little ride called the Teacups.
Oh, there you go.
That wouldn't bother me.
Oh, Primeval World.
Yeah, no, I like my neck. Fuck that shit. I have my limits. That shit ain't happening.
A few rounds on the Teacups, and I am throwing up.
So if nobody's ever been in a high-speed car collision, Primeval World's a perfect replica for that.
Yeah.
Look, Dave, this has been awesome. We definitely make sure you post in 3 sheets. Post when you do this, because Trenton, we're gonna challenge him to make a poll when he gets back from being the most bougiest of the hosts at Disney World. Go over to facebook.com/groups/3 sheets, and that's where you're gonna find our Facebook group. That's where you're gonna find the Facebook poll to find out which ride maybe the Sheeters think Dave and his merry band of fundraisers should do next, because it sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm sure the Sheeters will gladly help you ride some of the worst rides in Disney more.
They're more than welcome to suffer with me.
Do you have an idea of when or like a date in mind yet? So if people are trying to plan a vacation to do this,
I haven't yet. I would give at least. It's going to be sometime probably next summer. I'll give at least 5 months notice.
Perfect.
I'm also, like as I said, I'm also trying to orchestrate a move down there at the same time. So I'm thinking probably sometime in August of next year.
Okay, that's plenty of time for Sheeters to get their shit together.
The only other option is I'm going to be down there for a week in April. I would do it then. The only thing is I'm trying to earmark that for job interviews when I go down there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, Give Kids the World is something that's near and dear to our hearts right now. Dave, as you know, we're also running a little fundraiser for Give Kids the World.
Yes, I do.
And that is an awesome experience down in Disney World when the sheet up is happening, which is really, really soon.
It's insane.
We're all under the Fast Pass time.
Yeah. We're all under 60 days.
So, prize package number 1, if you want to donate to Give Kids the World, if you want to help out a charity that is near and dear to Dave's heart, go over to www.gktw.org, and that's where you're going to find the donate page. And you donate there, screenshot your donation, screenshot what you donated, send it to our Gmail. That's 3 sheets-to-the-mouse@gmail.com. Send us what you want, or send us your donation. Send us the screenshot of your donation so that we can enter you to this awesome prize package. Now, Dave, you followed along the show. Prize package number 1. You got to be excited for it if you're down there.
I am. The reason my thing is I have to leave the day before. I'm going to the sheet up, but I got to leave on the 5th. So I'm like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the only day they give it.
Yeah, I know. I actually ran into the guy at the Speedway by the car care center who works up at who gives all of those classes. Mike over at Yep.
Yeah, Mike Sass.
I met up with him on Saturday night. I was in Walt Disney World last week, so he had finished his shift and he was buying beer in the Speedway at that point. So
Awesome.
So prize package number 1 is an awesome bourbon tasting over at Top of the World Lounge. The awesome bourbon tasting. Dave mentioned Mike Sass. Bree, I think, is the other class instructor.
She does the bourbon.
Yep.
At least she did the bourbon class when we were there.
They're well knowledged of bourbon. They have many years experience of drinking bourbon. Bree knows good bourbon because she'll drink Pappy 23.
Mike's been a bartender at Walt Disney World for over 20 years.
So if you want to join the host and some other special sheeters over at the bourbon tasting on November 6th, 2018, go over to www.gktw.org, donate, because for every $20 you donate, you'll get 1 entry into the prize package, and that is it's a really cool bourbon tasting. But not only do you get the bourbon tasting, you're actually going to come home be sent to your home with a really cool prize package of little knickknacks, some Glencairn glasses, some things to taste bourbon with when you get home, but also...
And maybe... But you're forgetting the best part. A photo op with your favorite host.
Well, that too, but that was obvious. You can rub Trenton's bald head. He'll enjoy it.
Wow.
You can stroke his beard.
But you'll also get some of this awesome giftware to come back home and drink some bourbon with us as we drink on the show. Do not miss out on this if you're gonna be at Disney World for the Great Sheet Up. It's gonna be an awesome experience. You're gonna have a lot of fun. So make sure you get into this. Again, the date is Tuesday, November 6th at Top of the World Lounge. Winners.
You're gonna meet downstairs at 4:30 in the lobby, and then we'll be escorted up.
Exactly. So on Ultimate Booze Fest, because we are basically taking over that entire bourbon tasting.
I want to say it was open to 20 or 25, and we have...
When we were up there, it was 20. It's 5 tables of 4, and we have
the majority
12 tickets.
Rules. As Horizon says, majority rules. But that's not only the only way you can win. If you're not going to be in Disney World, you can still win a really, really cool prize package of some 3 Sheets swag. 3 Sheets Glencairns, 3 Sheets drinking stuff. Personal touches from each of your hosts. We're all going to include something in there for you to be a part of 3 Sheets Nation. And for that prize package, for every $10 you donate, you'll get 1 entry. So a $100 donation to Give Kids the World, that's 10 entries. We're keeping track. Mikey is keeping track of all the donations. We have raised over $2,400 already.
Nice.
So we're already halfway to giving a family a vacation. Almost halfway to giving a family a vacation at this point.
And isn't that enough for Trenton to shave?
It's pretty close. I think we're almost there. A couple $100 more. I think he said $2,500, and he would shave his beard completely off. And I think he should keep that for a month. I think he needs to shave for a full month.
Well, I say if we are able to send one family a full 5,000, I think he should keep it for a month.
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to go along with that, but that's what I think.
He will
You know how they say no shave November? This we can call it Go Shave November.
There
you go. That works.
I'll stay clean shaven for a month. AKA,
Scott, you don't grow
have a
hair on
choice.
your face. That's not
you
the
know what?
same.
I'll shave on October 31st, and I won't have to shave for the rest of the month anyways.
I say you should get some spirit gum and actually have to wear a beard for a month.
That would freak everyone out.
It would be awesome.
But definitely go over there. Go over and donate. Donate what you can. When Dave does his fundraiser, we'll certainly post a ton about it in the group as well, because this is a really awesome charity. It's a really cool charity. They do a lot of good in the world when there's more good than we need at all times.
I'll see if I can find the video of us breaking one of the skippers on Jungle Cruise.
Please,
I'll post
that
it
would be awesome.
in the 3 Sheets group.
I'm also thinking that hopefully,
Oh, that'd be great.
if we can swing it, depending on the date, I want to try to get one of us down there to do it.
Well,
with
you guys might be down there depending on the date. Well, it's August, right?
It's August, so it's my birthday and whatever, and we might be. There's cruise things maybe happening, but I'm sure we can maybe swing a weekend. We'll have an annual pass. So
There you go.
we'll figure out what's going to go on, and once you get the date firmed up, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm flexible at this point.
So stay tuned to the Facebook page. Stay tuned to 3 Sheets the Mouse. We'll definitely have some more info as this new ride fundraiser comes along from Dave and the Mickey dudes over there. Dave, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Hearing your stories of chili dog burps.
I can't even imagine. That just still is nauseating me. I can't even tell you. The thought of that smell in my face.
I think Kathy Najimmy's voice would also
You know what?
me.
I work in a bank, and where I work is pretty noisy all the damn time, so I can tune out almost any noise.
But that smell.
But smells is a little bit different of a thing that I usually don't have to like kind of block, and yeah, I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah. So Dave, again, thank you for coming on the show, Dave.
My pleasure.
Over at the Mickey Dudes podcast, tell the Sheeters where they can find you, because if they don't listen to the Mickey Dudes, they probably should.
They should.
We're on iTunes. Just do a search for the Mickey Dudes. You could also find us on Twitter at the Mickey Dudes and on Instagram at the Mickey Dudes podcast. And we always post links to our shows when they come out from over there, so you can just get our RSS feed from there.
Awesome. Where can people find you directly?
You can get me on Twitter at Figments Reality, and you can also get me on Facebook, Dave Koch. I'm in the Sheeter group, so just feel free to friend me.
Awesome.
So Dave, as we do every week, we have a little segment called Closing Remarks. It's your turn as our guest to give us some closing remarks tonight.
Disney World is definitely a special place for all of us, and one of the things is always keeping the magic alive. If you do end up basically participating in the Three Sheets fundraiser for Give Against the World, you're helping bring the magic to a whole bunch of families that really need it most. So definitely get out there, make your donations, send the boys your screenshots, and win some cool prizes in the process.
Absolutely. Like I said, go over to iTunes, check out the Mickey Dudes podcast. Some of our own cheaters, Kyle Ostrander, Michael Fernandez, Joe Quattrochi, Dave. You guys are all on the show. It's an awesome show.
Tim Schweska's also in the group.
Tim Schweska. Everybody go check it out. Really go download. You're going to have a lot of fun. It is a great show. So, Adam, give me some closing remarks tonight.
Well, I actually don't have anything great now. Because I didn't expect to go next.
Adam's
It's usually Tim. And then I go after Tim. Just screwing up the rotation.
Well, Tim just follows with I'm tired, good night.
And then it's usually me.
Because every time I'm last, and everybody has already said what I wanted to say. So I'm like,
all right,
fuck
so
it,
then Tim,
I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
you get to
Leave
go
me alone.
first. Give me some closing remarks.
Well, first I want to thank Dave for coming on. I'm looking forward to joining him and helping Mickey Dudes raise some money for a great charity. It's the first year we're doing it. We've done other charities in the past and raised some money from other good charities, and looking forward to helping out Give Kids the World. Let's raise some more money for a good cause.
Adam, give me some closing remarks tonight.
All right. So this is an awesome opportunity to not have to do much work and have a great outcome and get to enjoy something that you might not normally get a chance to enjoy. If you're not a DVC member, there's no other way kind of into this event. You're not going to be able to go, and you have to be a blue card DVC member, which means you have to buy your points through Disney or be grandfathered in. So if it's something that you're even thinking about doing, $20 gets you one entry, and that's all it's going to take. You got to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
So check it out. And like I said, you might get a photo op with some of your favorite hosts.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
The bourbon tasting is a lot of fun. It is a very exclusive event. There's only 2 spots open, so make sure you get those tickets.
Possibly 3.
There's 2, maybe 3. So get your tickets. Buy those tickets. Buy your entryway in. Go over to www.gktw.org, and that's where you can.
Mocking me.
That's where you can donate.
A little bit.
That's where you can donate your money to get into this bourbon tasting if you're at the Great Sheet Up in November. Again, the date is November 6th, 2018. It's going to be a fun time. You're not going to regret this. There are many...
Well, there may be regrets, but not from the event.
Yes, there are many...
Yeah. There may be after hours regrets.
Usually they start with Fireball. This will not have that.
No.
That's right.
Allowed in Top of the World. Which, just to correct... Yeah, Top of the World, any DVC member can get up to. It's
no, I'm talking about, but the event,
the bourbon tasting
you can't
event,
get
you cannot
into.
get into.
You have to be a blue card to book the
Yeah,
event.
no,
Mhm.
the
I didn't know
bourbon,
that.
the events itself, you have to be a full member to get into. Any member can get into Top of the World, but other than that, the events are direct sale only. So, look, Dave, again, thank you for coming on the show. It's been really informative, really fun. I'm glad you got to let your wild side out on the show.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
How does it feel to cross the line?
We toe the line on our show, but we don't cross it, so it worked very well.
Yeah, we don't have a line.
What's a line?
Wait, no. What's the phrase from our T-shirt? Cheaters know how to cross the line. Something like that.
Sure.
Something like that.
I drink too much to remember things.
The
Yeah.
running
So, look, tonight was a lot of fun. Go over there, go donate, give Kids the World. It's awesome, awesome charity. We're glad to help out. We're glad Dave is there to help out as well. But from all of us at Three Sheets of Mouse, thank you for making our show part of your Disney life. Thank you for your time, this time. And until next time, so long for just a while.